It's your girl Joy back with another video, and in this video we will be talking about my experience as a junior in college and the reality and the truth of working 40 plus hours every week consistently while being a full-time college student. Normally at the end of the year I tend to do a video recap where it combines all the fun memories that I created with friends, family, and things that I'm doing with school throughout the year. But unfortunately, due to COVID and to lack of time and insufficient funds, I haven't really hung out with anybody. I think I've hung out with about people about 5 to 10 times throughout the year, so I don't have any clips to put together, so I hope you guys enjoyed this chit chat video instead. However, I will leave a link down below in the description if you want to check out my recap videos from my freshman and sophomore year of college. And if you see me looking off to the side, that's just because I'm reading my notes because I haven't rehearsed this script. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Joy. I just finished my junior year of college. I am a journalism major and I go to Cal State Long Beach. So these are some stats about my fall semester of 2020, and basically it goes like this. I took 12 units, which equals 4 college courses at my school. On average, I worked 40 to 43 hours each week. And there was a point in time when I was working 43 hours each week consistently because my job was more demanding, but usually it's just 40. I was a broadcast reporter for Campus Connection at Cal State Long Beach. The Journalism 482 class, TV News, is the class that you produce a student broadcast called Campus Connection. And so that kind of, in a way, even though it was a class, it felt like an internship to me because I was doing like real journalism reporting. So I considered that one of my biggest time commitments for the fall. I produced and edited 8 YouTube videos. If you guys don't know, I am a YouTuber. It is my side hustle. I did get monetized in August of 2020, but I've been doing this for almost 3 years now. So I did create YouTube videos, but it wasn't a really big time commitment because I was focusing on everything else. I applied for 11 different scholarships during this time, and then at the end of the semester, my semester GPA was 3.75 because out of the 4 classes, I got a 1B, the rest of them were A's. My spring semester 2021, I took 12 units as well, which equaled 4 college courses. I worked on average 39 hours to 40 hours each week, so my hours still stayed the same. However, we're not allowed to get paid for our lunch anymore, so that's why it's 39. I was an intern for the University Honors Program for the whole entire spring semester, and I was a social media intern for that, so that was a big time commitment. Then I produced and edited 12 YouTube videos as well. I was very consistent with YouTube this semester. I don't know how. I applied for 12 different scholarships, and my semester GPA, I don't know yet. I know I got 1B, I got 1A, and my other class, I'm pretty sure I got an A. And then my internship class, it's a credit, no credit, so you don't get a grade, but I passed it. I got credit for it. So my semester GPA is probably whatever 1B plus 2A is. So as you can tell, I'm really busy. But I do want to put a disclaimer. Even though I was able to be successful with my academics, get good grades, do internships, do YouTube, work a lot, go to school a lot, I do not recommend this for any college student out there who does not need to do it. It is an unhealthy lifestyle and you will be miserable because I was miserable, and I've been in college for 3 years now, and I'm here to tell you that you need to prioritize your happiness and your health. Grades are important, but if your health and your happiness and your passions are being sacrificed, you have to give up something else because this is an unsustainable, unhealthy lifestyle. And the only reason why I did this is because of the circumstances and situation that I'm in. So if you're watching this wanting to see if you could do it, if you're in a similar situation to me, it's possible. There's nothing that's really that impossible. many people go to school full-time, work full-time. It's possible. And if you're in that situation, as long as you work hard and you grind, you'll be able to do it. But it's not easy. It really is not easy. Life will just hit you every direction, and you would have mental breakdowns like every day for the most part. So it's doable, and it's not impossible, but it's unsustainable, and it's unhealthy. So I just want to put a disclaimer out there and say that I personally do not recommend college students to work more than 20 hours a week. That's just my opinion. I've worked full-time and part-time in college, so I personally don't recommend you to work more than that. If you have the privilege to do that, don't work more than that. I support myself financially. I don't live with my parents. I moved out of my dad's house in 2020, which is why I work full-time. Otherwise, I would not be working full-time. But yeah, my mental and physical well-being has really suffered this year because of all of this, because I was constantly working, and the last thing I want to do is recommend that to anybody else. No, you only got one life, so take care of you, okay? So the first category is college. The classes that I took at Cal State Long Beach this year was photojournalism, media design, literary journalism, TV news, Greek mythology, advanced multimedia, mass media law, and my internship course. So these classes individually, I would say, are not really that difficult. I did get a B in media design and Greek mythology, which means that those classes really did make me work. When you work as much as I do, if you're a full-time employee and you're going to school full-time, 12 units, which is technically lower than the regular full-time status that most students do, because I think most students do 15 to 16 units. 12 units seems like a lot when you're working full-time. And it feels like you are taking 16 or 18 units just because your time is very sparse. And with journalism or any creative field, when your classes are pretty much project-based, it can be very stressful because when you have projects and you're in creative industries, they grade on your production, how well it was, how creative it was, how good it looks, how well you produce something. And it's hard to create quality work, quality projects, quality assignments when you have no time. And when you work full-time and you go to school full-time and you have a social life, maybe you're dating and you have family and all of that, you have no time. So it can be really stressful when you have like multiple creative project-based classes where you can't afford to submit like subpar work. Like, it's not like a history class where like you can write a generic essay and it might get a B. Like, no, if you do generic stuff in a creative class, then you're probably gonna get like a C. So that's stressful, and they can be quite demanding. 400 level classes, there is a big difference in how you're graded. I wouldn't say 400 level classes are necessarily more work, but there's a higher standard, and I have realized when taking 400 classes that you are graded harsher than when you were in a 100, 200, or 300 level class. My experience this year, I felt like I was doing homework 24/7, and it was so miserable because I would go to work 9 to 5, come home, do homework, and I would have no time left over. And that was how like every day for me was. I had no days off. I worked 5 days a week, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays when I didn't work, I had classes. So I had no free days, and it was miserable. And then what I started doing was I started doing my homework at work during the downtime. If you are as busy as I am, you have to stop being in the mentality that I can't do homework at work because I can't focus. You need to learn to focus at work. When there's downtime and your work lets you do homework, you better be doing your homework at work, because otherwise you're never going to have free time outside of work and outside of school. That's one thing that really helped me start to be more balanced, even though I would not say my life was balanced at all this school year, is I started utilizing the free time I had at work doing my homework, doing my readings, and that's how I started to get ahead. So, and I used to never be the person that could say that. I used to be the person that was like, I can't do homework at work because I can't focus. The next thing was second semester, I attempted to take 18 units, big mistake, but luckily for me, I was smart enough to pull out of 2 classes before the deadline closed to drop classes. I would recommend not taking more than 12 units if you can while working full time. My next category is work. I have found that I really do enjoy working. I became a site lead, which is really interesting because I haven't had any leadership roles so far in college. So that's one thing that I guess I'm kind of proud of. YouTube. So if you've been on my channel, you know I had to take a 2-month break from YouTube, unfortunately. I was going through a lot emotionally, and you can watch my video on that. I'll leave a link to that down below as well. And I felt like, I did not want to continue being that person that like spills my guts out on the internet every time I'm going through something. And 2, at this time, I was applying to a ton of scholarships. And for me, it was more important that I try to graduate debt free instead of making YouTube videos, even though it really hurt me inside to not upload. It has been really difficult to create content. I used to upload once every week, and now like sometimes I can't even upload once a week. Sometimes, I can only upload 2 or 1 time a month. If you guys don't know, it's not just about filming yourself. The editing process takes hours. The editing and creating a thumbnail takes hours. The crafting your description and your SEO title and your tags and all of that, it takes time. It takes time to export and upload. Next topic is finances. So y'all, I had the hardest time ever getting myself out of a financial rut. But this spring semester, I became financially literate. I've read 3 really good books. The only one that I can think of that comes to mind is Broke Millennial. Really good book, I recommend. I read those 3 books. I've watched a lot of videos, including Dave Ramsey. I also took this online financial literacy course with Cal State Long Beach, and it really taught me a lot about money and managing my finances for the future. When I moved out of my dad's house, I think I had less than $800 or $700 in my savings, and now I have a good savings. I'm not going to say how much, but your girl has been saving. I had massive credit card debt when I moved out. I think I had like $2,500 in credit card debt paid off. I paid that off within, I think, in 4 months. In 4 months, I paid that credit card off. I still use my credit card, but I never carry a balance on my credit card to the next month. So I have not paid any interest for all of 2021. I bought my first car. I paid off all $3,500 for my 2002 Jeep Liberty Limited. So I am a car owner, and I raised my credit score from I think 640 to 748. And a few months ago, it was actually at 766. I am financially well enough to move out of my boyfriend's family's house. I will be moving out of their house in August, and I'll get my room. I'm renting a room. It's not like an apartment or a studio, just because I really want to continue saving money and building my financial wealth and future. Recently, this month, I started a budget binder system, and I'm actually really loving it because I'm very aware of how much money I'm spending and what categories I'm spending money on. So financially, I wouldn't say I'm currently stressed out a lot because I know I have money, but I act, or I tell myself I don't have money. That way I'm not in a constant state of like overspending. But when I first moved out and when I first started working full time, I was really overwhelmed because I felt like my world was crashing. I felt like there was always an expense. I still feel like there's always an expense, but at least now I know how to budget. I know kind of what to expect financially, and I know that I still have savings that I could pull from if worse comes to worse. But I will say, like, initially, it was really hard for me, and most of my depression, I would say, came from financial stress. So let's talk about self-care and mental health. Like I mentioned earlier, my mental health was so bad. It was so bad, to the point that my boyfriend would complain about how I was always sad and how he wanted me to be happy and how he felt like a failure because he couldn't make me happy. And I tried reminding him that, like, this isn't about you. Like, you're not the reason why I'm unhappy. You are a reason that makes me happy. And sometimes I have to remind him, like, you're not responsible for my happiness. Like, that's not your job. A lot of times I find myself being sad or mad based on my circumstances, and like for months I had to try to train myself to think positively, to be that joy that everybody expects me to be. And it was really hard because I felt like there was no future for me. I felt really lost. I felt really overwhelmed and stressed out and overworked, and I felt like this is how my life is always going to be. I felt no stability in my life, and a lot of that led to me not being able to go to sleep at night, nights after nights. And I'm already overworking myself, so I didn't get much sleep to begin with, and so I'm tired. I have to caffeinate myself in the morning with coffee just to stay awake. And it was an endless cycle. I would probably have to say that this year was the year that I really struggled with depression, anxiety, and extreme amounts of stress. One thing that really bothered me this whole school year was the fact that I was not able to take care of myself. Self-care was not in the schedule of things to do. It was not a priority. Like I mentioned, I was not getting sleep. I think on average I slept 4 to 5, maybe 6 at the max hours of sleep every night. So I felt deprived of sleep. I felt my body being deprived of its repairing process. And there was many nights where I was so drained and I just wanted to go to bed that I would go to bed without even brushing my teeth or without washing my face. And I'm acne prone, so I have to do my skincare routine. Otherwise, the next morning, all these pimples will be popping up on my skin. But second semester, I started to develop a consistent skincare routine, and I started to paint my nails occasionally, and I started to hang out with friends more. So second semester was not any easier than the first semester, but I will say my mood did improve a little bit. So let's talk about personal struggles. Two main personal struggles is my struggle with acne and then my struggle with my weight/appearance. My acne struggles. If you've been on my channel, you know that I'm acne prone. I've had acne since I was, I think, 14 years old. When I was a freshman in high school, I was prescribed a topical acne cream called benzoyl peroxide, and I used that from 14 all the way till 21. I'm still 21, by the way. And it worked. It's magic. I had that clear skin. I didn't even have a skincare routine. I just washed my face and then I put that on and then sunscreen, and that was it. But then one day in the heat of my struggle with everything, sometime in November, I noticed that acne was appearing on my face. And this was really surprising to me because every time I had a pimple, I would put the benzoyl peroxide on my face and the next morning it would be gone. But I noticed that was not working anymore. My benzoyl peroxide stopped working. And I didn't know why. At first, I thought it was because my increased level of stress. I thought that was causing my acne flare-ups. And I think that did contribute to that. But the main reason is, I believe, because benzoyl peroxide is an antibiotic. and my body got so used to it that one day it was like, peace out, I'm done. I'm done working for you. And I have been struggling with acne since November 2020, and it's been an ongoing struggle. And yeah, and that also contributed to my mental health decline and me being depressed, because I'm like, I don't like what I see. I really don't like this. Does not look like me. This is not the joy that I know, the joy that I want to be. And also, being a YouTuber, someone who's always on camera, who posts on Instagram, it's so hard to like look at yourself and watch yourself and edit yourself when you don't like how you look, and when you know that there's a potential for people to point it out or bully you on the internet for that. And so it was really hard to even find the courage or the confidence to upload, or the desire. So sometime in April, I went to the doctor and she prescribed me tretinoid and spironolactone, and I've been using that, and it's been working, but it's gonna take 3 to 6 months, maybe even 9 months for my face to be fully clear. I don't know if you can tell I'm wearing makeup, but you can see kind of like a little bit of the acne, but it's really improving. Acne has definitely took a big hit at my self-esteem and confidence, for sure. The other thing that I really struggled with was when I stopped working out, I felt my mood really shift, being unhappy, because I felt like I wasn't taking care of myself. I felt like my body was just kind of like, just so sedentary, and I felt like, I need to be moving more, I need to work out and take care of myself. And definitely gaining weight made it really hard to feel confident. I didn't like uploading videos to YouTube either, because people are literally so disgusting on the internet with things like that. I prioritized work and school over my own health, which included not working out. And it made me extremely anxious and depressed to like look at myself in the mirror or post on social media, because I was looking at someone that I was like, that's not me. That's not who I want to be. But I felt so trapped with my schedule that I felt like I didn't have time to improve myself. I felt like there was no time left in the day for me to take care of me. I just felt like this is how it's going to be, and I just have to roll with it until the semester ends, and then that's when I can work on myself, which is what I'm doing right now. But it had been really hard to push through, y'all. So let's talk about accomplishments. I made it to the President's Honors List both semesters. I got Victoria's Secret Pink to sponsor Cal State Long Beach, and I became one of 2 of the first reps. I received 1 scholarship. I got monetized on YouTube, and I received my first paycheck from YouTube in March. I hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I hit 200,000 total channel views on YouTube recently. I bought my first car, and I successfully completed a social media internship during the semester. The number one thing that I learned is patience. I would consider myself in the past not a very patient person, and even with things like if I have a to-do list, I felt like I had to do everything that day. I felt really anxious if I had to like spread things out. No. I have learned that it's so much better to spread things out over the course of the week when they're not all due that day. And I've learned that when you're patient, there is less stress and anxiety that you experience. And I've learned that good things do take time. Hard work does pay off. And for all my Virgos out there, you do not need to stress out, because I know you are a hard worker. And if you keep that up, everything will more than likely be fine. So yeah, that's the main thing I've learned is there is no need for me to freak out about little things here and there. Sometimes I'm about to go to sleep, and then I pull myself out and I think about some random thing to stress out about. And I just have learned that things will happen on their own time, and there's no need for me to rush to it. The next big thing that I learned about myself is that I am capable of so much, and you are too. I think a lot of times we tend to limit ourselves and our capabilities, and we allow the thoughts and opinions of other people to also limit what we can do. I never thought I would be able to get good grades being a full-time student while working full-time and still doing stuff like YouTube. I never thought that was possible. I thought I would always freak out. I would never get used to it. I thought that I would be in a complete mess. But that wasn't really my experience, because I did do it and I still can do it. And that was one thing that I learned, is that I limit myself way too much. There is a need for discernment and knowing your limits. But I think that when you're put in a situation that you have to conquer, don't tell yourself that you can't do it or that it's impossible. So another thing that I learned is time is finite, but my drive is infinite. Another thing is life has hit me with so much in a short period of time, and being a college student supporting myself in the middle of a pandemic has really taught me a lot about preparing for the future, especially financially, that there really isn't a lot that scares me anymore, because it's like I've already hit like a really low bottom in life, that it's like, what else do you have? Comparison is the thief of joy. When I was in my deepest, darkest times, being really depressed, it was really hard for me to be really happy for people that I knew on social media who are being really successful, because I felt the complete opposite. I felt like I was a failure. I felt like nothing was happening for me. And I felt that I was becoming a really jealous individual. And I had to learn to stop saying to myself and being a victim, basically being like, you can't do this, or you can't do this because you don't have this, or they're only able to do this because they have all of these resources and privileges that you don't have. I had to rework my brain and tell myself that you might not have this, you might not have that, but what you do have is the drive and the will and the hard work. So you need to utilize that so you can also be that. And then when I started having that mindset, that's when I could genuinely be happy for other people, even when I was not thriving. So yeah. When I am jealous of others, I am robbing me of my own happiness. Another thing I learned is the key to financial independence and freedom is to budget and to stay out of debt. So you want to know where every single cent is going, and it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you spend. Bad things are going to happen. You will have bad seasons just like you will have good seasons. It's just life. And no one's life is perfect. But one thing that you do want to keep in mind is, for the most part, you are in control of your life. But that doesn't mean that there aren't things or decisions that you can make every day, every minute, every second of your life that you control. And that's one thing that I always think in my life, is to stop making excuses and to stop waiting on life, because life does not wait for you. I always think every day, how can I be productive today? How can I make my dreams come true? Because I'm only 21 once, and it's like, there's no guarantee for me to be here in the future. I remind myself to always stay driven, and that, if I want that certain body, well, go to the gym. You have control over whether you're waking up early in the morning or whether you don't. You want good grades? Well, study harder. You're in control of that. You want this, that, it can happen, but if you're not motivated, it won't. It's okay to be sad and depressed. Just don't let it make you self-destructive. Take time away from social media if you're feeling anxious, depressed, or sad. You don't want to feel stressed out from oversharing. Working a 9 to 5 is not actually that scary. I feel like once you work and go to school full-time at the same time, once you graduate, life will definitely seem a lot easier because you are used to working so often and you have more free time, basically. Another thing I learned is working out makes me happy, and the reason why I struggle to be committed to working out is 2 things. I have anxiety, social anxiety at the gym. I like to go to the gym unseen, unnoticed. I hate when people look at me because half the time I don't even know what I'm doing on the machine, and I don't want people thinking that I don't know what I don't want other people thinking that I don't know what I'm doing on the machine. And then 2, just being insecure about my appearance, my body. And then I always get really nervous when I have to wait for someone to get done with a machine because I'm always in a time crunch. So it's social anxiety and it's a lack of time, limited time, that makes me very like fickle when it comes to being committed to the gym, because I actually do like working out. It's just that I don't like being around a lot of people and I don't like waiting for people to get done with machines. Another thing I learned this year is I actually like my major. I love being a journalism major. I think that after taking more social media and multimedia based classes has really shifted my focus more to multimedia and content creation than to broadcast, although I do love broadcast because I remember not being very passionate or involved in my major when I was a sophomore and a freshman, but as a junior that has totally shifted to I do like my major. It actually fits me and I'm really glad I continued with it. Let's talk about what I'm doing now and what is next. So obviously the first thing that I'm doing is to take care of myself. I have to do repairs on all the damage I did to myself, over the past year. So what does that look like? Going to the gym. I've been going to the gym for the past couple days, fixing my sleep schedule, clearing my face of acne, obviously, and then I'm going to continue saving money and successfully moving out in August and starting my senior year of college. I'll be researching influencer marketing topics for my thesis for my senior year. I'm going to try and upload YouTube videos once a week this summer. I want to learn new skills through the linkedinlinda.com website, and I want to apply for writing contests, and I want to go to the beach once a week and hang out with friends. So, yeah. So that was basically my junior year, my life as a full-time college student who works 40 hours a week life. I just kind of wanted to give you a brief recap of everything since I couldn't provide a recap video to you guys. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!